Do, 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 do. Hello, 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 welcome. So excited to be with you on this Saturday. Oh my goodness. I wanted to talk with you briefly about when we think other people are the ones that need to change in order for us to be happy. So there's this concept that I love teaching my clients, and it's called the manual. And a manual is a a set of rules and expectations that we have for someone else. And if they comply with our requirements and our expectations, then we will feel happy or feel content or feel any certain way. If our feelings are contingent upon their actions, then we're happy. And that's really what we want. And the reason why this is such a tricky thing is that God gave us free will to do whatever we wanted, to be as loving or as hurtful as we wanted. And of course, there are consequences for that, but God gave us this free will. And then when we approach a relationship with anybody else with a set of expectations that they follow in order for us to be happy with them, it puts so much pressure in the relationship, and it prevents us from being happy. And the interesting thing is, it's not their behavior that would make us happy. It's our thoughts about their behavior that we decide to feel a certain way because of how we're thinking about them. And so many times the list of expectations we have for other people sound like noble and good things. People should tell the truth. They should be fair. They should be polite and kind. People should open the door for me if I'm approaching a door and someone's right there. They should hold the door open for me. All of these things. And that's fine to want people to do those things. But if we're expecting them to do it so that we can be happy, that's where we're setting ourselves up for so much failure. And maybe most of the time, we don't tell people all of these expectations that we have. And then when they don't follow them, like maybe you have an expectation that someone sends a thank you card after you've sent them a present. And if they don't send you a thank you card, then you get offended and think, well, I'm just not going to do that again. Or maybe they don't say thank you at all. They just say, oh, I like it, but they don't say the words thank you. And you're like, okay. Then all of a sudden we're wearing this anxiety and this like tension because of their behavior. But if you understand that your thoughts create your feelings and my thoughts create my feelings, all of a sudden we realize that we don't have control over other people like we thought we did. We can try to manipulate people into doing things in order for us to feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, that manipulation is going to backfire. And this is one of the reasons why I'm such a proponent of unconditional love and boundaries. And when I am able to approach a relationship with unconditional love, that means that person gets to behave however they want to behave. And this is so funny because they're going to do that anyway, pretty much. And if I allow them, as God allows me to be who I am, they get to be themselves without the rules and without the restrictions of my, being nice to them based on if I approve of them or not. Now, loving someone unconditionally doesn't mean that you get to be walked on by them. This is where a boundary comes in, and you get to set a boundary for yourself. And you can still have expectations of people and you can still want them to do things. But if you're hinging your feelings on their actions, then that's where you're setting yourself up to be hurt. And I've done this so many times. And when I do it now, I notice it and think, oh, that's so fascinating that I was wanting them to do something differently in order for me to not feel a certain way. And it frees me up because all of a sudden I can say, I can choose to love them unconditionally. They can do whatever they want and I'm still going to love them, period. And it literally gives me this enormous space to make such better decisions for my life, for my family, for my kids, like whoever's involved. It just gives me this space to make decisions from love instead of entitlement, which is really, this manual is what we feel we're entitled to for happiness. And it's so funny because I always previously had looked at people with an entitlement mentality as kind of less than, like, oh, they think the world owes them something, and totally missing that I was doing that very same thing by thinking people owed me a certain amount of respect or a certain behavior in order for me to feel like I was respected or loved. And if I didn't get that behavior, if I didn't receive that from them, then I would withdraw and treat them coldly. And I love working with clients on this because it's a never-ending thing. Like, we always find these new areas where these people should have done something different and they didn't. And being able to walk a client through how to set up appropriate boundaries for ourselves in a way that serves us, and how to love the person unconditionally and not require specific behaviors for us to be happy. This doesn't mean that we condone their behavior or that we approve of it or that we think it's wholesome. We can still think all of those things, but we don't have to treat them in an antagonistic way if they don't comply with what we expect. We are the ones that wear that heaviness. We are the ones that wear that burden when they've not measured up to our expectations. We can still ask things. We can still request them. And honestly, this is such a broad and deep topic that each client experiences it differently. And so we plow through it to find where they are really struggling with an expectation of somebody. And they're so varied, but it's a beautiful thing to release people to be who they are. Because think about it, how do you feel when someone is trying to control you and they're expecting a behavior out of you that you're not genuinely wanting to give, but they're expecting it anyway, and they're going to punish you emotionally if you don't provide that requested behavior and expected behavior? Like, that just feels slimy to me. And I don't want to be a part of that. But then I find myself doing that very same thing to other people. And it's like, oh, okay, I see. I was expecting them to do something in order for me to be happy, but they don't have to, because the only way I can be happy is because I create my thoughts about it. And I can decide how I want to think about them in a way that will serve all of us, and I can make a decision from love. And being able to do that is powerful. It gives you your life back. Setting healthy boundaries gives you your life back. People that are boundaryless, that don't have proper boundaries in their own life, they live with such resentment, with anger, with bitterness. They're swallowed up with so many of those emotions because that's what they're creating with their mind. And if they had had a proper boundary and understood what they should have set, where they should have drawn the line, they wouldn't be suffering like that. And then these expectations with other people, relationships are so nuanced, but it's a beautiful thing to be able to do this and offer this for my clients. If you are wanting to work on your boundaries, if you are wanting to learn how to set appropriate boundaries confidently and follow through with them, not to think, is this boundary okay? Am I being selfish here? Like, I want to tell this person no, but I just feel like I can't tell them no. I'm feeling pressured and I don't like this. We can work through all of that and get you to a place where you're making healthy decisions out of love for you, for your family, for your friends, all of your relationships, and give you the skills to do that in a healthy, confident way. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. I would love to speak with you. We'll jump on the phone. It'll plan for about an hour, and we will just talk about all of these things in your life and how you can get the results that you want that will benefit you and bless you in a beautiful way. So think about what you're expecting of other people. Think about the requirements that you're putting on other people for you to be happy, and think, What can I do to release them to be who they are without me trying to figure out how I approve or condone their behavior or don't? Like, just let them be who they are and love them through it and say no to things that don't work for me. But I don't have to lose all of my energy through being in anguish and suffer needlessly because I'm not setting a proper boundary. Look in your life where you can do that. So I love y'all. I hope you have a beautiful weekend. Make those healthy boundaries. I'm going to keep talking about it because they're so good. They give you life. Boundaries are life. So, all right. Love y'all. Be blessed. Mwah.